What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. In this video, we're going to talk about the Galaxy Z Fold 3 because I headed over to my local Best Buy and they had the Galaxy Z Fold 3 and Flip 3 on display. I headed there actually yesterday or Thursday and they didn't have it, but then they did today on Friday. And then like the guy that I saw yesterday came over to me, he's like, oh, you missed it just by 15 minutes. But the guy was there from Samsung, he put it on display, he had a loose one you could have played with. So if I had come 15 minutes later, the previous day, I could have had an unconnected one and just made a cool video with it probably. But with that said, the Z Flip 3, I did not really get a hands-on with it because it was locked down and I couldn't really do anything with it. So you couldn't even move it. So I was like, what's the point? So I didn't even really bother with that one. With that said, I was able to play with the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Even though it was connected, I could still close it and open it and kind of put it through its paces. And I made myself a little list of things I kind of wanted to talk about. So let's jump into that list. The first one being the crease. The crease, we've heard that it's less or that it's not really noticeable, and you can definitely see it. You can feel it. Just in the very, very short time, 15, 20 minutes of me actually playing with this, I didn't stand out too much to be like, oh my God, it's really unnoticeable or it's not there. I could see it and I could feel it. It just, whatever. It's the crease. I've learned to get over it with this phone right here. It's not really a big deal. Doesn't bother me anyway. For me, one of the bigger changes on it was the fingerprint sensor. So the buttons on the Galaxy Z Fold 2, they feel like from here, they feel like they're metal, and then they feel the fingerprint sensor has some traction to it. Whereas the Z Fold 3, I didn't feel that traction, and the buttons on the side here felt more plastic to me, which is not a bad thing. I felt like the fingerprint sensor did stand out a little bit more and felt like it was easier to find on the Z Fold 3, which also acts as a power button. And then the volume buttons, again, they felt about the same to me, but they did seem like seemingly, it could just be the feeling of the button changing overall, they did seem like a little bit easier to find as well on the phone. Two things I really wasn't able to give you a real honest opinion about were the weight and the S Pen. The S Pen, because literally I didn't see an S Pen there, so I wasn't able to just grab one and play with the S Pen on the screen. So unfortunately, I don't have any opinion on that. And the other one is weight. So since the phone was connected, I had this apparatus of, it charged it at the same time, which it kept coming undone, and it was connected. It was really difficult to gauge how much lighter the Galaxy Z Fold 3 was versus the Z Fold 2. It actually felt heavier than the Z Fold 2 just because it had that big charging thing on there, and it was just difficult to gauge the weight of the phone. Performance on it felt very, very snappy, and that's kind of what you would expect with a Galaxy phone at this point. And also that has a Snapdragon 888, 12 gigs of RAM, fast storage. So it did and went through all the paces of being a good powerhouse of a phone, being able to run through websites and just jumping and open up websites and opening up apps, and that whole experience felt very, very good. And then you also have to remember that the display is 120 hertz on the front and on the back, and or not the back, but the front and the inside, I should say. The inside display, it felt beautiful, it felt bright, all of that was really, really good. You can definitely feel a difference on the 120 hertz on that front display, because on the Z Fold 2, it's not 120 hertz, it's 60 hertz, and you can feel a little bit more smoothness on the Z Fold 3 with that front display. And then overall, just the brightness, like I said, I matched them side by side. I didn't really notice. I know the Z Fold 3 is like 29 and 25% brighter than the Z Fold front screen and inside screen overall, but it's tough to tell it side by side. I didn't really notice that much of a difference, but you can definitely notice a difference on the 120 hertz on the new front display. It definitely makes it feel a little smoother. Next was the camera. So I did take photos with the front camera on the front display and the front camera on the inside display, which is the under panel camera. And I had a pretty much optimal lighting for a camera with it, because it was like soft lighting, but it was like perfect. It looked really, really nice. And overall, I was pretty happy. Even that under panel camera I thought looked pretty good. I didn't really have a way of sending it to myself in a pinch. They didn't have any accounts attached to it, and I didn't want to attach one of my accounts. There was no phone number attached, so I couldn't text it. Couldn't download any apps again because there's no Google account or anything attached to it. So I really couldn't do much with it. So I just took a photo of the display with my phone, and that's kind of what you got. But I thought it came out pretty well overall with that camera. And one thing that does happen is when you do the under panel camera on the phone for the Z Fold 3, it shows a black cutout on there so that you see the actual camera. I thought that was kind of weird that they do that, but it's also kind of smart so you know where the camera is, but it does put a software kind of black hole on there to let you know, which makes me think that that's probably going to come to future things, meaning that if you want to see where the camera is at all times on the display, there'll probably some kind of workaround or hack or something that'll allow you to always see it instead of it being hidden under the display. And speaking of the under display camera, what's my overall thought about it? It is hidden most of the time. You really have to focus in on it in certain lighting situations, have it be a darker background, which it does seem to stand out a little bit more versus like a lighter background, but you can see it. And I don't think I'll get distracted by it. But it is kind of noticeable, and you can see it even when the screen's off. If you just like kind of angle the phone at certain angles, you can see it. It's not completely hidden. But I think the bigger point would be is how good is the videos and photos that it records with that under panel camera on that big display, and is it going to be distracting in overall sense of watching videos and doing anything else on the phone? And I think the latter would probably be the thing to least worry about, is it going to be distracting? I don't think it's going to be that distracting. But it goes hand in hand with, is it going to take good photos and videos? That remains to be seen. I would definitely need more testing with it, but the photo I did take, I was not disappointed by it, so I thought it was fairly good. So if you want to check that phone out, check out your local Best Buy. They do have it there. They probably have it at your local carrier, as well as Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. Check out, they probably have it there. Samsung wants to promote the phones, so you're able to do that. And then remember, if you want to pre-order it, links for that are down below as well. And if you have tried out the phone at your local Best Buy or one of your carrier stores, let us know in the comments down below what you think about it. What are your thoughts? Do you feel differently than I do in some of the things that I was saying? Let me know. Have a great day, and we'll see you down the road.